Hi guys, it's Angie with Fun Endeavors Tie-Dye Lab. Today let's make a reverse dyed shirt. This shirt is kind of a darker teal colored Gildan Ultra Cotton shirt. And I'm going to start by centering the shirt. This process is going to go really fast, but down below in the description for this video is a link to another video which shows how to center a shirt. The design that I'm going to do is going to be both on the front and the back of the shirt. So when I center the shirt, it's going to get both sides of the front of the shirt right up next to each other and both sides of the back of the shirt right up next to each other. That way, whatever dye I apply to the shirt or other process I do to the shirt, it's going to help the front of the shirt look more symmetrical, and the same thing for the back. I'm going to put a V design in this shirt, so using a straight edge and a piece of white chalk, I'm going to draw a diagonal line on the shirt. Then I'm going to draw one more on the shirt just so that I have another line that I can use to fan fold. You don't really have to add the second line on, you can just get by with one though. Now I'm going to fan fold each of these lines and tie them with sinew. The sinew that I'm using is an artificial sinew that is wax coated. So wherever I put a sinew line and I tighten it down really well, the wax coating on the sinew won't allow either the color remover or the dye underneath that area. So the original shirt color is still going to be under the sinew lines when I'm finished with this entire process. After I have the initial line tied, I'm going to go ahead and fan fold the rest of the shirt and put a few rubber bands on the shirt just to hold the folds in place until I can get my sinew lines tied. I'm going to use my ruler and washable marker to make some marks on the shirt so that I can get my lines pretty close to even on both sides of this initial line. For the color removal process, I'm going to use a product called Out White Brite Laundry Whitener, and I purchased mine at Walmart on the laundry aisle. It's usually by the bleach. It's not a bleach product, so it doesn't damage the shirts or the fabric the way bleach does, and it also doesn't need to be neutralized the way bleach does. If you can't find any, I have a link down below in the description for this video for where you can purchase some from Amazon. I'm going to do this process outside because the Out White Brite is a little stinky, and so I don't like the smell inside. I'm also wearing my respirator for the entire process because I don't want to inhale any of the fumes or any of the Out White Brite powder. I'm removing the color from a whole bunch of things all at the same time, so I've placed them inside of a plastic tub or tote, and I'm going to sprinkle the Out White Brite over the top of everything. Now I'm going to pour boiling hot water over the top of the Out White Brite, and you can see it immediately starts to remove the color from all the items. Because I have so many shirts in this container, I went ahead and added a little bit more Out White Brite and another pot of boiling hot water. I left the shirts for probably about 20 minutes. Then I took them to my utility sink and I rinsed them really well in cold water. Then I threw them in my washing machine and I washed them either on a hot or warm cycle. It doesn't really matter. But I used a little bit of Dharma's textile detergent, and the textile detergent helps to get out some of the smell from the Out White Brite. Then I soaked the shirt in a soda ash solution for about 20 to 30 minutes, wrung it out of my Panda spin dryer, and put it aside to dry. So after the color removal process, the shirt didn't turn taupe, it turned just another lighter shade of blue. So I actually set the shirt aside for several weeks trying to decide what to do with it. And I decided to try to ice dye it with a variety of shades of dark blue and gray. If you remember, the shirt was more of a teal color, so it had a little bit more green in it. It took the green out of the shirt, but it didn't take the blue out, which is actually not uncommon. That has happened several times with blue shirts. It's something specific about blue dye. There's a whole science behind it, but just realize some blue shirts may not have the color removed, or they may just turn a lighter shade of blue. I'm going to incline ice dye the shirt, so I've placed it inside of a piece of vinyl guttering, and right now I have the guttering laying flat on my table. I'm going to start by adding a piece of kite string around the very end of the shirt, and I'm going to attach that with a little clip to the end of the piece of guttering, so the shirt doesn't slide all the way down to the bottom of the guttering. I started by adding a little bit of Raven Black from Dharma right at the very end. Then I decided to spray the shirt with a soda ash solution to help hold the dye on the shirt a little bit better. I added a little bit more Raven over the top of where I just added the soda ash solution. Then the rest of the colors that I used on the shirt were Steel Blue Gray from Custom Colors, Indigo Blue from Dharma, Charcoal Gray from Dharma, The Dark Side from Dye Spin, Timberwolf, Gunmetal Gray, Brushed Steel, and Nebula Navy, all Dharma colors, Nightfall from Dye Spin, and Blue MX2G from Custom Colors. I'm going to add a little bit of soda ash over the top of the dye and then add on a layer of ice. Right now I still have the shirt laying flat on my table. I'll incline it as soon as I get the ice on the shirt. To incline the shirt, I have a plastic tub or tote that has pretty large sides. I'm going to place one end of the guttering down inside of that plastic tote, which is going to incline the shirt probably close to a 45-degree angle. I let all the ice melt, and then I came back and added a second layer of ice, allowed it to melt, and allowed the shirt to process for about 24 hours after that second layer of ice melted. To rinse the shirt, I took it to my utility sink and I began rinsing it in cold water to rinse out the soda ash. Then I untied the shirt and warmed the water up to hot and continued rinsing to rinse out any of the excess dye that didn't bond with the fabric. Because the colors are so dark, I went ahead and ran some hot water in my utility sink and just allowed the shirt to soak. I added a little bit of Blue Dawn dish detergent to the water, and then when the water cooled off, I changed it out and kept repeating that soaking process until the water was almost clear. At that point, I put the shirt into my washing machine along with some Dharma's textile detergent, and I washed it using a hot water cycle. And after the shirt was washed and dried, this is what it looks like. Okay, so what do you guys think? I actually was really surprised by this shirt. I left it tied over there for so long, I really forgot what the original color of the shirt was. I was just trying to figure out something that I could put over the shirt, which would dye it and it would look really pretty, and the dye would actually show up. I think this was a pretty good color combination. I think the dye did show up on top of the shirt. And I think it looks pretty on the shirt. I think that the blues and grays complement the teal color lines that were underneath the sinew. I also like the design on the shirt. It's just a simple V, but it's amazing how much just a V design on a shirt can elevate the shirt. So I'm pretty happy with it. I think it looks pretty. Like I said, you never know sometimes with blues. I've never really had a problem with navy blue. Most of the navy blue shirts that I've ever used Out White Brite or another color remover on have worked pretty well. It's the lighter shades of blue that I've had issues with. Sometimes they just turn a lighter shade of blue, and like in this case, it took the green tint out of the shirt but left the blue. You never know with a blue shirt. But I'm happy with the way this one turned out, the final product anyway. Several months ago, I bought quite a few different colored shirts. I bought some blue shirts, purple, pink, green, because I wanted to see how well they worked with Out White Brite. So this is one of those shirts. I didn't necessarily have any vision for this shirt per se, so I wasn't disappointed when most of the color stayed in the shirt. That's one reason why I bought all those different shirts, was to see what would happen when I used them with the color remover. So if you guys have enjoyed this little experiment with the blue shirt, I sure would appreciate it if you would like the video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you have a great day.